Hello there. Welcome to this episode of the Youth Cafe. My name is Evelyn, and we're doing this from Bible Way Ministries, Kilifi, formerly MPC Kilifi. You can check out our older episodes on YouTube at MPC Kilifi. So today we'll be giving, as usual, this is a show where we give real life stories about our lives as believers to just encourage us as young people in this journey of Christianity. Today I am joined by two amazing guests. We have Enoch and we have Daniel right here with me, and they'll be sharing their real life stories on an interesting topic. So sometimes we plan that, I'll do this and that, I'll do this and that about my life, and then things just don't work out, and God just comes up with his own plan and it works out so well, and at the end we're actually glad that it worked out that way. Sometimes we also don't understand, or sometimes it takes so long to understand, hey, by the way, why did this work out this way, or like mbona hii haikuenda hivi, and so we'll be sharing our real life stories in this regard, and we'll have part 1 and part 2 of this show, so be keen to check out part 2 of this show next week. So there's this verse that says, I think it's in James, I don't know, that says, do not say you'll go to this town tomorrow, or I'll do business in this kind of business tomorrow, and yet we do not know if we'll be there tomorrow. We don't give ourselves breath. So we're like not humidity, my God, dew or vapor that is here today, and it just disappears, just like that. That's how short our lives are. And in planning, it's so easy to say, I'll do this tomorrow, I'll do this and that tomorrow. And then so let's learn to just count our days. And so I'd like to welcome, I don't know who wants to start, Daniel, Enoch? I guess Daniel. All right. So okay, so Daniel, just share with us your real life story in this regard of in this topic. What is your experience? Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Evelyn, for having me on the show. It's exciting to be here. I think there are many times when, or rather there are a number of times that I can think through in my life when I have felt that God has made an adjustment in the things that I thought that he was probably going to do them this way, or they were going to play out in this direction, and then they just turn out a little differently than I expected. So as I think through a number, there are many that I could share, but for the purposes of this show, I'm just going to share one experience, and that will be largely in line with my career. You see, when one is going to the university, and particularly for someone like me who is a firstborn in my family, it's you're going to the university and the whole family, possibly even the village, is looking at you and they are thinking, this guy is going to go to the university, get a good job, mshahara 6-figure, and then akuje aokole familia. So I get to campus, I'm excited. I had been called to do biochemistry, and that time my mom had gotten a few people who had advised her, he's a biochemist, he's going to get a job as a medical representative, and then he's going to be selling in millions, his commission is a good lump sum of money. And even for me, I'm thinking, it will be nice to know how it feels to have a lot of money. But I get to campus, and I also get to the Christian Union in the university, and I'm excited about ministry. First, it is the Lord made it so that somehow I got to be a leader in the CU in campus. I had not been a leader with a title before anywhere else. It happened formally in campus. And as time progresses through my third year, I'm excited and I'm thinking, this is nice. So a thought comes to mind. There are organizations that offer internships for an year after campus, and then one can proceed to their careers. So I choose to join one of those organizations. So I joined Focus Kenya for a period of 1 year. So I go home, talk to my mom, that mom, you know what, I'm just going to do this for a year. And then after that, I'll go back to my career and we can make the money we have always talked about. So I get to become a STEM staff. They have a program they call short-term experience in ministry, and I get to do it for 1 year. And through that 1 year, as I continue to serve, I think I felt in my heart that this is what I would want to continually do. So I sort of lost interest in the lump sums of money. Well, if the Lord so chooses to bless me, I don't mind. But I sort of lost the drive of, the desire to want to, that I'm actually working so that I get the money. And wanted to do something else. So I was given an opportunity to do another year. Now the challenge was telling my mom about it. How do I go tell her that all these years I have been in school, but now I am not going to look for the job with mshahara 6-figure anymore? I'm going a different direction. I think that's one of the things and one of the areas that I think God. I had my own desires, but then God came in and made quite a different turn. I was to be a millionaire at the age of 25. I'm more than 25 now, and I'm still in that path. I think that will be the greatest for me. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Daniel, for sharing. So I'd like to know, how was it like after making this decision? You're taking the path of ministry na kijiji yote tumekutegemea alafu unatuangusha. How was it say financially, like was it easy for you as a person, and was it hard, and for your family? I don't know if like you were expected to now be the breadwinner. How was it? You're married right now. How was it even meeting your girlfriend, and is it worth it today? If you look back, would you go back and actually still make that decision? So just share that with us.
Thank you. Looking back in that moment, and for a season, for a time, maybe a couple of months, it was really difficult. I am the firstborn as well in my family, and there are people who are looking up to you, and they have certain expectations that, my brother went to the university, he's now working, because for them I am working, so there are expectations. At first it was difficult, especially getting mom to understand and to have my family understand that this is the path that I am taking. But looking back, I don't think I would make a different choice than what I made, because as you mentioned, I am married, and by the way, on that note, my wife is a baker as well. She has some very nice cakes for anyone who might be interested. But as you mentioned, I have now gotten married, and interestingly, how I met my wife was because of that change that I made at that point. If I had not gotten into focus, if I had not taken the direction of focus, I don't know, we probably wouldn't have had an avenue for my wife and I to get to meet. So I think that change was also in its way and in God's plan for my wife and I to get to meet. And the very reason why I'm also in Kilifi today is because I am in focus. If I wasn't in focus, it probably would have taken me some time to come to the coast. But now here I am, and enjoying life for that matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is great. That is great. Like, it's fulfilling, and we can even see it from outside that you're full of joy, you're full of life, and it's not like, wow, sasa nilijifanyia nini, So thank you for sharing your story. So I welcome Enoch to just share his story on the same thing. Karibu.
Thank you, Evelyn, for inviting me to this show. Well, I have a story. It's based on my education, because anyway, I'm young. That's all I have done. So I would just say, I remember when I was in class 6. At that point, that's why I made this plan. I said I'm gonna be a neurosurgeon. A neurosurgeon. And now I look at that word, I'm like, okay. Okay. Yeah, and I wanted to be a neurosurgeon, and so I worked hard. I was in a school called St. Thomas around here. It's a public school. It's tough. And I worked hard. I really worked hard. And on the second term of my class 6, I remember, some school came, and it gave us a maths contest, and we were supposed to do it. And if we pass, we get a scholarship. And I passed. You know, I want to be a neurosurgeon. I want to learn in a place where it's nice. And I went to Light Academy Malindi. And there I remember making all these plans, reading everything. And I don't know why I did all that. Right now I usually think, and I'm like, I was in class 7 reading like someone who is in Form 4 or something. Wow. I went to Form 4 and I didn't do that. So so I don't know why I did it then. So and I passed my KCP, and I had this school in mind. Secondary school, I'm going to go to Friends Kamusinga High School. Yeah, I heard that's probably where there was this neurosurgeon. I even forgot them, and he learned there. And I was like, if he learned there, I'm also going there. I want to be there. I want to be in a school where a neurosurgeon came from. And so, and I waited for the results, and I passed. And then now we wait for the school that you're called to. So, you know, you choose schools, and then you expect them to come from that list. And so when the school comes, I'm like, I didn't even choose this school. I don't know where this school. It is in Coast. That's another thing I didn't want, because I had this attitude that, you know, in Coast hakuna masomo. And I look at this school, I'm like, where is this school? And now I remember the first day going to school. And I also cared about the infrastructure of the school, I remember at that time. So I get to the gate, and I was with my brother, and I tell my brother, bro, are you sure you want me to learn here? Because I don't think there's a neurosurgeon here. And so I was admitted to Kenyatta High School, Mwatate. And I can say for the first year, that was the worst year I've ever had in a school anywhere. One, I didn't like the school. A very bad attitude. Everybody, it was not inspiring. I wasn't inspired to be that neurosurgeon. I was annoyed. How can I do all this? And in the first step to being a neurosurgeon, and I failed. I didn't go to that school that brings out neurosurgeons. I've come to this school where I don't know who was the old boy that I knew from that school. That was great. I didn't know. And I had lost all hope. I remember even in that first year, I didn't join CU. I didn't join any ministry. I play keyboard and drums, but I remember just sitting in that dining hall and watching them do their stuff. So, you know, when you're down there, you also hear the mistakes, and you're like, sasa hizi ni nini? What are you doing? And on the first year, I remember I was mad. I wanted my parents to get me out of that school, but they didn't, and I couldn't tell them, because I don't know how you tell parents nimeitwa hii shule na ninastaki kwenda. So we get to Corona 2020 now. That was 2019 when I was in Form 1. Now we get to Corona, and I come home, and throughout that year, when we had this 9 months holiday, God was using my mom and videos and all to just speak to me, to show me that He has a plan for me. And that year is the year that I think I got straight with God, pretty straight. And that year I got to be comfortable. I just realized you're not in Kenyatta for nothing. So when we went back to school, I just decided, okay, relax. Maybe you can be a neurosurgeon. And so I picked actually subjects that will lead me to be a neurosurgeon. I relaxed. First, I became comfortable with the school. God told me, you can actually be a neurosurgeon from this school, and I believed that. Okay, He didn't say you can be a neurosurgeon. He said you can pass. So after going back to school, I had now finally realized why God put me there. There was a problem with piano, with the drums. There were many problems with the music team, leadership, and everything. And I didn't realize I was the person to change a school. I didn't think I could help a school. So God had put me in Kenyatta apparently to change a lot of things. First, I joined the CU music team, and immediately I joined, me and some other friends. We noticed a very big change, even in the songs that they sing, in the response with the crowd, in how God was felt in the service. There was a very big change, and that was so fulfilling. It was more fulfilling than knowing I'm in a good school where I can do this. And then in that same year, a friend from Friends Kamusinga comes to my school. He transfers, and I ask him, why the heck would you transfer to here? And he told me, my friend, you think you'd pass there? You wouldn't, because yes, there are reading times and any, but what you can do here, where you can go to worship in freedom, where you can move around, you can be free to make your choices. There are no choices there. And you might think that is helpful in your education, but it isn't, because you have to be willing to do something. And so that year in 2021, I became comfortable with Kenyatta. I became comfortable, and I picked the mistake I did is I picked subjects that are based on neurosurgery before asking God, actually, because if I can pass in Kenyatta, I can still get there. And so as I go on with those subjects, I get to Form 4 and I realize, okay, these were not my things. They were not the ones. And I pray to God, and I'm like, okay, God, what should I be? I've already picked these subjects. I don't know if I'm gonna pass in this. What can I be? And then one day I walk with my father during the holidays, and he tells me, do you know, son, there has never been a lawyer in this family. And so I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do about that? He said, do you know you can be a lawyer? I said, I can't. I can't do law. It's funny. I don't think he remembers he even told me that. And then I go back to school for the Form 4, and I became a leader, a student leader. I became the vice chair of the school. And the way I used to argue my things and how I used to relate with people, many people came and told me, you can be a lawyer. Yeah. And I was like, I'm doing physics. Yeah. and geography. Where is law in that? And then in the same year, I come to realize that you can actually still do law with those. And I was like, okay, God is just changing plans already. I'm not a neurosurgeon, tayari. It's okay. And so I did the year Form 4. I just decided I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to do law. And when it comes to KCSE results, the subjects that are needed for me to get law are the ones that I've passed. Right now I'm looking at CUSPs and what I did in how I registered in Form 4, and I'm like, I qualify for law in every sense. The grades that are needed, I've qualified. The universities that I want, I've qualified. And I go and look at the subjects that are required for neurosurgery. I'm like, well, okay. I'm nowhere close to that. And even my general grade can't get me there. And I think it was even a higher grade than what I would have gotten in Friends, honestly speaking, with the experience that my friend gave me. And I just thank God that I was very mad to go to Kenyatta, but he has this plan for me. And now I'm seated here knowing I changed something in Kenyatta. And Kenyatta taught me a lot. It gave me an opportunity to get closer to God. It gave me an opportunity to realize that you can do law, you can be a leader. It gave me so much confidence. After high school, I was a new me. And I think if I went to Friends, where there's a lot of program and all that, I wouldn't have gotten what I got from Kenyatta. And that's a simple story, but I think I thank God for that. It's something that's close to my heart, what God has done.
Oh, you finished. Wow, that's an incredible story. So you're starting law soon, or you've already started?
I'm starting law soon.
Wow, okay, nice. Congratulations. And we're looking forward to that lawyer in the future. I don't know, do you guys have any parting shot before I conclude?
I think maybe it's just acknowledge a coincidence that interestingly I also went to Kenyatta High School, but not Mwatate, a different one, Kenyatta Mahiga. And I was also not as excited to go to Kenyatta. I had wanted to go to a different school because I also wanted to be a doctor. But see God and how He does these things. So I think as you close and as you close the show, the one thing I want to mention is the place of freedom and surrender. Surrender is not always easy. Letting go of control. You want to be in charge of what is happening in your life. You want to know exactly every single detail and how it's going to play out. How is God going to do it? I want to know how He'll do it. But that's not how God operates sometimes. Sometimes He just reveals to us a step at a time. Do this for the next 1 year, do this for the next 6 months. But before you know it, when you look back and see the masterpiece He has been creating and what He has been doing in your life, that's when you appreciate that truly God has been in control. So just let go and let Him take control.
Wow, thank you very much. Any parting shot?
Okay, what I would just say is that exactly what you said, that there is something Pastor once said, that there is freedom in slavery to God. When you just enslave yourself to God and let Him take whatever choice He wants with you, He will never fail you. It may look so tough because, again, as I've said, a slave to God. Being a slave is not nice, but you'd rather be one to God than to your own self-desires. And God's choices for you are good. They are what? They are better than any other. You'd rather follow them, and His plans may not look like they favor you at the moment, but they are definitely gonna favor you sometime later. God has a good plan. I think it says God has a good plan for you, to not to harm you, but to prosper you. And that, I believe that is true. Even right now, as I go to the university, I know God is not done with me. It's not that now that I've gotten to this point now, that's all. I may even go to do law, and then God says, okay,
Ministry.
I gave you law to do something else. And then maybe I join Focus again. So I would just like to encourage someone that focus on God, acknowledge His plans for you. It may not be what you want, but it's definitely what's best for you.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Enoch and Daniel, for sharing your experiences in this show. You can also comment, and we post this on YouTube, so in the comment section you can also put your story regarding this topic. So we've come to the end of the show. We do part 2 next time. I'll also share my story there. We see even like you can get a life partner from Daniel's story in just following God's plan. And yeah, so see you next time. Stay tuned.